Hello friends, how are you all doing? It's been a while since I've done one of these. A lot of things have been going on, and I want to share them with you and share two great hymns tonight. I know we all go through things in life that we can't control and that really have a weight on us that's been bearing on us. And I've been going through that in the last month, having some issues with family and just stress. I mean, it happens to the best of us. And I know we all like to, at least I do, give a front that I'm okay. I'm fine. I don't need prayer. I'll pray for you, but I'm doing fine. And sometimes you have to just be walloped in the face and say, hey, you're not doing okay. And that's when, well, all along, I've been in the scriptures, been praying, and you go to those great hymns of the faith that just kind of settle you and where you find inspiration to go on. And that's what I found for us today. Two gems here. Wanted to be able to do one last recording with this piano. My niece is coming tomorrow to pick it up because we have a new piano that we bought and is going to be moved in here. So this is belonged to this woman out right here, Margreta, and she played a lot of good Christian hymns on here. So it's a special piece, but it's going to go to family now, and we're going to break in another good one back here. So our hymn tonight is, like I said, it's going to be a double feature. We've not done that before. So it's going to be two ones that really, I think, go for my things I've been going through right now. This one came from Charles Weigel, and he lived from 1871 to 1966. And he wrote this hymn that I know you all have heard, "No one ever cared for me like Jesus." And he was an evangelist and songwriter, and this hymn has been translated into 30 languages. It was first composed in the year 1932. Charles, at the age of 12, had a horrible temper. He had a reputation in the neighborhood and in the family. And he had actually injured his older brother with a knife. And then he knocked down a neighbor with a bat, and he attacked someone with a dinner bell. I mean, at 12, this kid is making rounds. And the child with the dinner bell, he was so bad someone had to carry him home. So it was underneath this time that God really began to work in Charles' life, and he became convicted and he gave his life to Christ. I believe this was at a tent revival from what I remember from my research. When he graduated high school, he went on to study music. And this hymn came from a troubled time in his life. Being an evangelist, he had to go out to many different places. It wasn't a local ministry that he could do, and it called him away from his family. And he was married, he had a child, and he came home one night and he found a note from his wife, and it said, "I'm leaving you and I'm taking our only child away." This was just devastating to Weigel, and he fell into a deep depression. And he wondered, does anyone ever truly care for me? And his faith was tested, and his ministry and songwriting just came to a halt. And 3 years later, it was found out that his wife had died. When she chose to leave him, she just went out and did a bunch of riotous living, as they say. And it cost her. He came through his crisis of faith with a strong desire to give everything to the Lord. His ministry and his music career resumed. And Charles, looking back at this time, he sat down at the piano and he said, "Jesus, no one ever cared for me like you." And he wrote this song in 20 minutes. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, comforting song. And there is another updated version that I've been listening to by Stephanie Granger. I'm probably not saying that right, but it is so pretty. And this song is just such a comfort if you're going through anything right now. So let's just sing it together. And if you're in the celebration hymnal. You'll find it on page 496. I would love to tell you what I think of Jesus, since I found in him a friend so strong and true. I would tell you how he changed my life completely. He did something that no other friend could do. Sing the chorus. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. There's no other friend so kind as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cares for me. And he cares so much for you too. If you're watching this and you're wondering, who does care for me? Is it my family? Is it my friends? Those will all fail you, but Jesus never will. So take comfort. All right, we're going to do one more. And I found myself singing this one, and I love it. Learning to Lean, and it was written by a John Stallings in the year 1938. It really didn't become popular until the 1970s. It did win a Dove Award in 1977 for Song of the Year, but that's kind of when the Gaithers made it popular and when it started appearing in hymnals. And there was actually some verses written with it, but my hymnal book only has the chorus, but you can look up the verses online. And John Stallings, he was a pastor in Montgomery, Alabama, and he was going through multiple trials, like we all do. And his daughter was sick. She nearly died. He had another daughter who was involved in a horrible car accident, and she was seriously injured. And he was getting ready to leave his ministry in Alabama and move to Florida. And one day he was just thinking about all this, and the words came to him. Learning to lean, learning to lean. I'm learning to lean on Jesus, finding more power than I'd ever dreamed. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. And as he composed the music to this song, when he would preach in different sanctuaries and the chapels, he would share these words in the hymn with them, and the song just grew and picked up, and it was being sung everywhere. The words are extremely comforting, and whatever trial you're going through, because you've heard the old adage, if you're not going through a trial now, you're headed for one. And I always hated hearing that, but it is true. And but we can lean on Jesus, and we can get through these trials with him, and that's the best way to go through any trial. So let's sing this one. This one's in 534. I love to call back those numbers when the song leader would say, in your hymnal, please turn to. So we're going to start with 534. Learning to lean, learning to lean. I'm learning to lean on Jesus, finding more power than I'd ever dream. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. We'll sing the chorus one more time. Learning to lean, learning to lean. I'm learning to lean on Jesus, finding more power than I'd ever dreamed. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. I hope you find these hymns as precious as I do in these times when you're going through something. Don't look to the world. Look to Jesus always. May God bless you until we share the next hymn in history.